هدوء هدوء هدوء.
That was a slice of life in Gaza. Any moment, a missile can strike. The pictures you saw are from a church. A service was on. That's when an Israeli missile struck outside. Those worshippers were the ones who survived, but the others have not been so lucky. Israeli forces are pounding Gaza. Yesterday, they stepped up their operations. Israel says they've killed dozens of Hamas fighters and they're attacking from all sides. Tanks on the ground, warplanes in the air, and missile ships on the high seas in the west. Israel's defense minister was at the front lines yesterday. He said they're hitting Hamas on quote-unquote every level.
I am impressed with the forces' operations. It's a determined operation. Decisive, strong, combined operation between the ground forces in the air with supporting fire from the sea, from the air. I want to convey my great appreciation for the performance of our forces. These are very important achievements in the field. We're hitting terrorists at every level.
With each passing day, Israel is expanding operations. Let me tell you how. The ground offensive began on the 28th of October. Israeli forces entered Gaza from the north. Now they're coming in from all sides. They've used 4 entry points in the north and at least 2 in the east. And what kind of resources have they deployed? Israel is obviously keeping the numbers under wraps, but it's clear that they've deployed serious firepower here. There are armored vehicles and tanks with hundreds of soldiers. They're conducting door-to-door operations and getting cover from tanks and warplanes.
שמשו לפגיעה בקו החוף מציר זריף עד ציר ברושור. אין קיבלת
Since the beginning of this war, Israel has hit some 11,000 targets in Gaza. 11,000 targets. But what is their goal? To destroy Hamas. That's what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said. But this success on the battlefield is coming at a hefty price. Civilian casualties in Gaza have crossed 10,000 according to some estimates, and the numbers are making Israel's allies uncomfortable, like the United States. Initially, President Biden backed Israel to the hilt, but now he seems to be wavering. Yesterday in Minnesota, Biden called for a humanitarian pause. What does that mean? It's not a ceasefire. It's a pause to pull hostages out. And he used the word prisoners for them. Now, the hostage situation is quite complicated. So far, Israel has not been able to spell out a plan as to how they will secure their release. Israeli forces are pushing deeper into Gaza. They're making advances, but that's not translating into the release of hostages. It's a distressing time for their families. Today, Israel had an update. The IDF is now reporting a higher number of hostages.
So far, 242 families of 242 hostages have been notified. I repeat, 242 hostages. We are committed to the national task to return them all home.
Remember, it isn't just Israelis who were taken. There are other nationals too. These 242 hostages have passports from 25 countries, including from America. So Biden and his team are under pressure. They're facing questions, both from their political opponents and their own staff. There's a rebellion of sorts in the State Department. A few days ago, we told you about this. One of their officials had resigned. He was against U.S. military assistance to Israel. And privately, many more officials are speaking out. They've slammed Biden's Israel policy. Their boss, Antony Blinken, is facing a backlash in public. He appeared before lawmakers recently and he was greeted by protesters. Some had painted their hands red and were shouting slogans.
And ethnic cleansing of the people of Gaza. Ceasefire now! Save the children of Gaza! Save the children of Gaza!
What was Blinken's response? We support our allies. That's what he said. At the same time, he also called for a humanitarian pause, same as his president. And this is a message that he will now personally deliver to West Asia. He's visiting the region again. It'll be Blinken's second visit in less than a month. He'll go to Israel and Jordan. And it's a tough assignment because the situation on the ground is worsening. Yesterday, Jordan pulled out its envoy from Israel, and now Hamas is threatening more attacks. A senior official has spoken out. He hailed the October 7th attacks and he said they'll repeat it. He said Hamas will carry out many such attacks.
إسرائيل دولة لا مقام لها على أرضنا. إحنا الدولة لابد أن نزيلها. لذلك إحنا لا نخجل من نقول ذلك بكل قوة. إنه إسرائيل لازم نأدبها وحنأدبها مرة ثانية وثالثة، ومش هذا حتكون طوفان الأقصى أول مرة، لا حتكون ثانية وثالثة ورابعة، لأنه إحنا لدينا إصرار ولدينا قرار ولدينا إمكانيات.
With threats like these, Israel is unlikely to ease the assault. A humanitarian pause looks hard to achieve. Expect more strikes and more casualties.